pulling the steering wheel off the 85 Ramcharger. Some of my issues I found was coming from the ignition switch. So to get the ignition switch off, I need to pull the steering wheel. I want to change it out to a more hot rod look anyway, so it's kind of a benefit there. And I actually want to pull the column out and paint it. Make sure all the wires are in good condition before I put it all back together. So the steering wheel puller, I already have the nut off that holds the steering wheel on, and it has two little bolt holes in it where I've put these bolts through on the puller, and then I just use the use a ratchet or breaker bar and turn it, and it presses against that that center bolt in there, which is the stud that comes out of the steering column. So that's just forcing the it's just basically pressing off the steering wheel, which is pressed onto that shaft. Got the steering wheel off. This ring on the steering wheel is how the horn works. So you push in the middle and it makes contact. It comes down, and this is the other side of that contact right here. So this is where the blinkers and hazard lights, all this comes together. So whenever that clicks on, it'll just continue blinking until the steering wheel is rotated, and then it'll click it off, or you can manually click that off. So to get to the ignition switch here, looks like I had to pull a little more stuff off there. Looks like there's 3 screws holding that in. If I get lost or can't figure it out, I have the service manuals to help me out too. So yeah, I got a nice dirt dauber nest in there, so it looks like it did need cleaned out and repainted. So I got this the collar off. It was held on by a snap ring. It's one of those things, I pulled the 3 screws out and it didn't come out. And on these old vehicles, it's like, well, do I get the pry bar and hammer, or is there something I missed? But I saw the snap ring, got that out. Just want to show some operation here. This little saw blade looking thing is actually what locks the steering wheel. It locks the steering wheel when the key isn't on. So once I get that out, we can see the ignition switch back there and all of its wires. Looks pretty good inside there. I'll make sure it's good and clean though when I pull it apart. So the snap ring also holds this little bearing in there. I think I'm going to try to find a replacement one while I got it out, because I really don't want to be back into this, 6 months, a year from now, and have to replace that because I didn't want to do it right now. I got the steering column out and partially broke down. Here's the main shaft that the steering wheel hooks to. It hooks to a steering box, shifter lever. So I'm not completely tearing this down, but I have it down far enough to where I can paint it and then mask off whatever I don't want painted. So here's the turn signal switch that I showed earlier. It's had a connector replacement on it, and I think now is a good time just to get a new one, put that on there. Here's the culprit that I got here with won't have fire and crank, and then have fire and run, and then all of a sudden it'll fire and crank. Intermittent ignition switch going in and out is what I suspect. So I'm just going to replace these 2 components here, put those back in, limited lifetime warranty on that, and be done with it. I need to clean this up, paint it, and re-grease it. Actually, I had a wire here. I didn't know what this was. I was looking at it, and I knew it was some sort of a limiter switch. So actually I had to look that one up. That's the key in ignition switch. So when the key gets into the ignition, it's got this little leg here that drops down and enables the switch if the key's in it. I'm installing a steering column after replacing some of the components in it, all the electrical. Repainted it. It needs to be cleaned and a light coat of wax on it to make it look a little better. Had to clean and just repaint the little turn signal arm silver. The chrome was peeling off of it. So putting it back together is not too complicated. Is just takes a little bit of thought and some time and patience. The next thing that I got to do is work on this snap ring right here, getting it back in its little slot. I was going to replace the bearing in there, but I didn't find that at the local parts store or anywhere. I could probably pull the bearing number and special order one, but it looked good, so I just went through, cleaned it, and re-greased it and put it back in. Alright, I got the steering column all back together and the old steering wheel on. Don't want to use this steering wheel in the end. I actually have another steering wheel I want to put on, but that'll be a steering wheel install kit. That'll be something else that I can document in video.